Hello there, it's Mary, and I want to forewarn you, sometimes this little piece of technology doesn't work perfectly, so we're just going to see how well we do here. I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk with you today about one solution and explain to you a little bit about what it is and what the goals are and what my involvement is and what your involvement can be if you'd like it to be. So one solution is an initiative and now an organization that started earlier this year in 2016. And the first kind of coming out party, if you will, for One Solution was an event in May that was held in Oslo, Norway. And that was a really beautiful event. It was attended by about 200 people live, and I think perhaps another 75 or 100 attended virtually. And One Solution was really the brainchild of Mara Gleason, Adek Olson, and Aaron Turner, with also some support, major support from George and Linda Pransky in the very beginning as well. And the idea of One Solution is pretty radical. It's based on the three principles, and what it suggests is that the solution to all of the societal problems we face, whether it's, environmental problems, conflict, education, gun violence, you name it, and that we have been coming at all of those things from the wrong angle. We've been seeing those things as problems when in fact they are symptoms. So unfortunately, a lot of really well-meaning people have been putting a lot of time, money, energy, resources into trying to solve symptoms, not realizing that there is an underlying problem that could be cleared up very simply with an understanding of these three principles. So in other words, let's take conflict as a very broad area. The root of a lot of conflict has to do with people's sense of security. And when people have an understanding of what the three principles are all about, they understand that security does not come from a border, let's say, but security is something that we are all born with, and security never goes anywhere. So if people really understand where their security comes from, for instance, it becomes sort of nonsensical to fight over that. We stop seeing things like territory as a way to retain or create a sense of security. Some of those things start to look really just completely illogical to us once we start to gain an understanding of this. Now, One Solution also just finished putting a grant application together for the $100 million new MacArthur Foundation grant. And I was very pleased to be a part of that. And the people behind this grant are really looking for radical ideas for tackling world problems. And when the creators of One Solution heard about this grant, it seemed like a natural thing to do, to apply for it, because you can't get much more radical than what we're talking about. Because what we're really saying is that there is one singular problem that the world has, and therefore there is one solution to that problem. The singular problem is that people are essentially confused about, have a misunderstanding about where their experience of life is coming from. To most people, it looks like the world is happening to us, when in fact, the world is coming from us, from within. And when people start to understand that there isn't anything out there that is creating their experience, that experience is coming solely from moment to moment thought, the world starts to look very, very different. And the principles, you may not realize this, but the principles are being taught in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of settings around the world. Everything from schools to prisons to addiction treatment facilities to veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, in all kinds of settings. And there was some very early work in the 1980s, pioneering work done by Dr. Roger Mills in some horribly distressed housing projects here in the United States. And the results that he achieved by teaching these principles to people living in these projects, the results were astounding, really astounding. So this is what One Solution is trying to put across, that we can continue to throw money and time and resources at things that address symptoms of the world's problems. But until we address the problem, which is this misunderstanding that most people are living with, we will never be able to solve those things. Those things will continue to exist, continue to exist. What I find so exciting about the principles and about One Solution and this whole conversation is that we are talking about a major paradigm shift. And I hate to use that term because it's such a buzzword, but I can't really think of any other way to describe it. You know, rapid change happens in the world when a new principle is discovered. You know, people often talk about gravity in relation to the principles that we're talking about. You know, when people understood the principle of gravity, look at what was able to be created as a result of that. Things like space travel didn't exist before we understood the principle of gravity. When people see the actual cause of something, such as disease, you know, this is another example that comes up fairly frequently where, you know, before people understood what germs were, they were looking at symptoms and trying to figure out, okay, well, maybe it's bad smells that are causing this disease, or maybe it's this or that. Well, when people figured out what germs were, suddenly the answer to a lot of problems became very clear. So if we can bring this understanding to a global level through One Solution, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that solutions to long-standing world problems will start to become very obvious, because we all have this incredible resource available to us, to use the principle speak, via mind with a capital M. And it's from there that we have the potential to create solutions to everything that ails us. I think it's very easy, I was thinking about this morning, I think it's very easy to be cynical these days, you know, with the political climate and everything that's going on. It's very easy to get cynical and doubtful. But to tell you the truth, I feel more hopeful now than I ever have in my entire life. I'm 55 years old now, and I have never felt so much hope, because I have seen personally for myself what an understanding of these principles can do. And if you multiply that times however many billion people there are on the planet, I mean, the potential for change is just beyond belief, really. It's beyond words. You know, if it can help me to literally undo decades of mental illness within a matter of weeks, you know, just imagine yourself and what you've discovered through the principles. Imagine that on a global scale. What would happen if everyone knew that their experience was coming from inside themselves, and that they had the option to not listen to thinking, not react to thinking, not respond to thinking, but they had another resource available to them instead? imagine how the world would change and how quickly it would change. So I'm going to share a link for the One Solution Facebook group after I finish this video. They've just announced that the next One Solution conference is going to be held in Johannesburg next March of 2017. Hi there, you guys who have joined. Thanks so much for being here. Hi, Karen and Fenella. I really appreciate that. And so you can have a chance if you are able to attend that in person. I'm sure there will be a virtual option as well. But there's a lot that can be done just by connecting with other people who are part of this initiative. And that includes a large chunk of the Three Principles community. What's exciting for me is since this grant application to the MacArthur Foundation was submitted, even if we don't make it to the next round, it will be read by someone. And it will be read by someone who potentially has influence. And that's a very exciting prospect, just in general. And I also feel like there is such momentum now and such a good feeling around what One Solution is about and what its goals are, that it can't help but make a difference. I know, Karen, it's really exciting to me too. I just find this honestly to be the most compelling thing that I have ever been involved with. It's really given me such, not just hope, but a sense of purpose. And Fenella, you're right, it's a huge opportunity, not just for people who have been in this conversation around the principles for a while, but anyone who wants to really make a difference. This is the way to do it. There are so many well-meaning and beautiful people in this world who are trying desperately to make change happen in all kinds of areas, and I love them all. I really do. Hi, Greg. Good to see you. But they are missing a core piece in what they're trying to do. And One Solution and the Three Principles and what we are talking about could really help those people who are already on the front lines trying to make a difference. This could change everything for them and for the people that they're trying to help. Greg, it's so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. So again, I would love to encourage you to find out more. I will share the link to the One Solution Facebook group. There is a new website that's going to be launching shortly. And of course, I am a resource. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about it. And I just really encourage you, if you are really interested in making a difference on this planet and in the lives of the people who really need our help, that you look in this direction of the principles and of One Solution, because I really believe without any doubt, there is zero doubt in my mind, that this is what is needed to effect real change. And it gives hope to people who may not have it right now. It certainly has given that to me, and I know that it can give it to the world as well. So thank you so much for being here and for listening, whether live or on the recording. And I'll share some more information, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye for now. Thanks.